What's up, everybody? This is time to wrestle with Suplexis. I'm Suplexis, and today I am gonna review AEW Revolution 2025. So, there are two things I'm gonna address first. First of all, the monitor in the back. As you can see, I do not have it on. There is an issue with my Ethernet, so when I figure that out, we'll go back to the usual setup. And second of all, I am recording this a bit later than usual because AEW pay-per-views take a very long time. Like tonight's was about 4 hours, so I may be quieter. I live with other people, and the GTS. So, without further ado, I'm Suplexis. I got my All In 3 t shirt on, and let's get started. So, AEW Revolution. Tonight's show was perhaps the most mixed AEW show of all time because you have some very high highs in one of the best matches of the year, in my opinion, and some very low lows with one of the worst main events in AEW history and one of the worst main events of any wrestling show this year so far. So let's start with the big thing coming out of the show, in my opinion, Mariah May versus Tony Storm. This match to me symbolized everything that's right about pro wrestling because these two, they've been on a journey since what was at the end of 2023, and they put on all these matches to set up for All in London, a show that I want to. I put a community post, you can see that. I went to that show and I saw Mariah May versus Tony Storm. I was blown away because I have seen good women's wrestling before. I have seen good women's storylines combined with good women's wrestling. Take Io and Candice, take, I'm sure there's some more matches, but that was a bit different because of the venue of Wembley Stadium, because of the story they told over, like, what was it, 10 months, and all these factors. It was a very special match to me with all these layers going on. And if it wasn't for MJF and Will Ospreay, it would be my match of the night for that show. So I was very excited for this. In my opinion, the Grand Slam one didn't hit as much, but this to me, this match hit on everything it was supposed to. The storytelling and the references hit on that. The violence, this was the most violent match on the card. A card where we had Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher in a steel cage match. We'll get to that soon. And a card where we had like Ricochet and Swerve, where we had, I mean, Kenya Takeshita was alright. Yeah, uh, that's part of the mixed aspect, but this to me, my words cannot do it justice. This might be match of the year. I gotta sleep on it. I can't say it's match of the year for the whole year, but so far, it's either Mariah and Tony at Revolution, or it is Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens at the Royal Rumble for my match of the year so far. That could change in time. We got Io, Rhea, and Bianca at WrestleMania. I'm sure a lot of matches are gonna happen that'll blow me away. But for now, this one is the top of the food chain for anything else to try and beat. Like Mariah Tony, my biggest complaint with it is the fact that it didn't main event the show. This was a perfect conclusion to the rivalry. Just everything about it is excellent. I know they charge $50 for these pay-per-views, so it's a lot of money. But if you could go on YouTube, even find some highlights, I'm sure they'll show some on Dynamite on Wednesday. But I highly recommend you check it out. This match, just phenomenal work. Um, I'm not involved in giving matches star ratings like Dave Melter, but if this gets 5, I am not gonna argue. So that was my highlight of the show. Now let's go from the bottom of the card to the top. Let's look at everything else. Kicking off the show was MJF versus Hangman Page. I should also note by now that I don't write down notes for these types of videos. I just go off the cuff. So if there's something I forgot, forgive me. So, MJF and Hangman Page. Their promo on Collision, they did not show it tonight, had a song called Bullet with a Name on It by Nonpoint. This song to me is it means a lot because in my grade 12 year, I wasn't having the best. I wasn't in the best place mentally, to say the least. This was one of the songs that I enjoyed. This was one of the ones that brought my mood up. This was a song that pumped me up for the day. So it means a lot to me. It was in SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. It may mean a lot to other people for different reasons, but I love that promo. And Hangman Page and MJF, these two are some of the best wrestlers in the world. If you put both of them on your top 10 list, I am not going to argue at all. For me, I'm a big MJF guy. Like, if Roman and Io are my two favorites, MJF is a close third. I love him. I love the work he does. I love his commitment to the game, like staying in character all the time. He could tap into all these different emotions. He could tap into all these different styles of wrestling. If you're a new wrestler coming up, MJF is one of those people you should try and emulate. With that out of the way, this match was good, but it was disappointing. The thing I mean by that is, let's look at MJF's resume at Revolution. Cody Rhodes beats him, star-making performance in that feud. You have him and Jericho at Revolution 2021. It wasn't amazing, but it still planted the seeds for their inevitable breakup. And then, excuse me, one of my favorite AEW matches of all time, one of my favorite CM Punk matches of all time, my second favorite CM Punk match of all time, him and MJF in the dog collar match. If you're wondering where the inspiration for Drew versus Punk at Bad Blood, this poster right here came from, watch the dog collar match with MJF. It is something special. And then, probably the best match out of all of them, Bryan Danielson 2023 Revolution Iron Man match. Just regardless of what type of wrestling you prefer, you'll enjoy that. So with all that being said, this was just good. Like, towards the end, it picked up, but seriously, it didn't do what I thought it was. It didn't do what I felt it needed to. Excuse me again. Sorry about this, but I feel like it needed to be like the old school AEW everyone loves, and it didn't do that. It was good wrestling, but it needed to be great, and that just didn't happen. So, good performance by both of them, but I was quite disappointed by it. So, up next in the show is Mercedes Monet defending against Momo Watanabe for the AEW TBS title. This didn't belong on the show to me. I'm just gonna put it simply. This did not belong on the show. And that comes down to the fact that as an AEW fan, as someone who consumes AEW, your job is on pay-per-view especially, put two people against each other that I've seen on AEW television. That is the least you could do. Momo Watanabe, I don't know a thing about. I don't know anything about her. And you throw her out there. If you throw someone out there who I don't know about, I'm gonna expect for the in-ring work to make up for the fact that I don't know what's going on. I don't know the story of the match. I don't know any of that. So I'm gonna expect that. And when the match is eh, not a bad match by any means, but it's just alright, you failed to deliver to me. This match was boring, flat out. I was bored watching it. That is not the job of wrestling, let alone wrestling on a pay-per-view. This did not need to be on the show. So that's pretty much what I have to say. Mercedes continues the title reign. I don't know who she fights next. It feels like she's run through everyone. Maybe Mariah May. Maybe Ember Moon or Athena finally goes to AEW instead of Ring of Honor and beats her. I'm not sure, but this didn't do it for me. And in the next match, um, I'm looking at the card. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I remember the next match now. I believe I got the card right here. I believe it was the Hurt Syndicate versus the Outright. I feel like the thing I'm looking at only has seven. It's missing some. Okay, I'm just gonna fly through some. This might not be in the right order. Sorry about this. Okada fought Brody Lee. The, this to me was um it kind of just happened. And I'm gonna say something might be a bit controversial. I think Okada is the most overrated wrestler in the world. Because this guy, Okada, like, I hear so much about him. 6.5 stars with Omega at Dominion 2018. One of the best wrestlers in the world. This and that. I've been watching him for almost a year on AEW. I have not seen what I call a classic match from Okada. Like, even Will Ospreay at World's End. Will Ospreay. This is the guy who could wrestle this garbage bag to a 5 star 60-minute clinic. Even he just put on a good match with Okada on pay-per-view. So I don't get the hype with Okada. This match didn't do it for me. We'll go more on where I think Okada is going after, but it is not interesting to me. And that's all I have to say. But luckily, um, wait, is it luckily yet? No. We still got one more slacking match. um, yeah, we got the Hurt Syndicate defending against the Outrunners. Just a few words for this one. The Hurt Syndicate buried the Outrunners. They are buried. Boom, 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 boom. Get the shovels out. They are done. Because the Outrunners, they got booed, not the desired reaction. Hurt Syndicate got cheered. We love them. We love Shelton Benjamin. We love Bobby Lashley. So they got the not desired reaction. Simple as that. The heels got cheered. The faces got booed. Nothing worked. It was a squash. They barely got any match, or they barely got any offense in the match. Goodbye, Outrunners. It's been nice knowing you. The next one, though, finally, it felt like finally we're getting something good. Once again, I know the order of the last four matches. I know what the first two matches were, but the ones in between I may have gotten wrong. I apologize in advance if I did. It's a 9 match card, so I am sorry. We got Swerve versus Ricochet. This was great. Simply put, this was great. This was epic. Not epic, just great. Ricochet and Swerve Strickland. Swerve Strickland. I got respect for that guy. I got respect for his in-ring work, but more than anything, Swerve Strickland, this is a guy who couldn't make it on NXT Black and Gold. NXT Black and Gold was known for bringing in these indie talents, known for bringing in these talents from Japan, from Europe, from Mexico, and allowing them to showcase their greatness. That did not happen for Swerve, and we never really saw his full potential. So he left, he got released. I don't even think he made it to the SmackDown or Raw. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think he did. And then even in AEW, they didn't know how to use him for a while. But when he turned on Keith Lee, when he got Prince and Nana with him, it was just boom to the stratosphere. Swerve to me, easily top 5 in AEW. I put like Will Ospreay, I put your MJFs, I put your Hangman Adam Pages, I put your Swerves, I even put your Tony Storms at the top 5 in the company right now. So, honorable mention to Christian Cage as well. So, these two, they just went out there and put on a clinic. I really like it. One thing is, though, I was hoping that Ricochet would pick up the win. I thought that Samantha Irvin would make her debut and help Ricochet win. That did not happen. Maybe that'll happen soon, but I this is the best work of Ricochet's career, in my opinion. Amazing stuff. And yeah, nothing more to say about that match. And then after we had Mariah and Tony. I already talked about that in the beginning. Match of the night might be the best match of the year so far. Just perfect, excellent stuff for Mariah and Tony Storm. Now in the next one, following this, we had Kenny Omega challenging Konosuke Takeshita for the AEW International title. This to me was it, it was fine enough. It was good, but one thing is their all out match surpassed this one. Definitely. Like this was still good. It's nice to see Kenny Omega come back from diverticulitis and win a championship. That's cool to see, but it was just good at the end of the day. I'm curious. Well, I'm not curious actually, because where do I think they go from here? They are gonna do Okada and Kenny Omega at All in Texas. I know, I'm aware there's an audience of people who are excited to see that. They probably watched their matches in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I have not seen them. Maybe I should catch up. So, that happened. That's gonna happen. I'm not particularly excited for that. Now though, we have my second favorite match of the night. Great work once again. Do you see? We got Will Ospreay and Cal Fletcher in a steel cage. I feel like I don't have to say anything, and it just speaks for itself. Will Ospreay, this guy, mm, words cannot do justice. You have to watch one of his matches to understand who Will Ospreay is. I'm gonna make a fantasy booking video with him and Roman Reigns. That is not because that is there is a serious reason behind why I'm doing that. You watch one of his matches, you will understand. This guy, he says he's on a different level. That is not a lie. Will Ospreay is undeniable. The way I see it, that's the way my brain sees it. Finn Balor led the Bullet Club. Finn Balor started it, so AJ could be the best wrestler. AJ ran the Bullet Club, and he brought in Kenny, and then Kenny became the best wrestler. And now Kenny ran the Bullet Club. He brought in Will Ospreay, not in the Bullet Club, but he brought him up, and now Will Ospreay is the best wrestler. You could say he's the best in the world. You could make an argument for that, and I would not debate too much with you. This guy brings something else to the table. It's beautiful. And with all that being said, I wanted Cal Fletcher to win this match. Yeah. Um, I think Cal Fletcher could have used this win more. Uh, Buddy, Cal Fletcher is every all the best out of Randy Orton and then some, except for the promo game, but he'll get there. He's been a singles guy only since October. So Cal Fletcher, I was hoping for him to win, but these two, they go out there, yo. Nowadays, the cage matches, they don't take as many risks sometimes. Like, who takes the most risks recently? EO and War Games. Garbage can on your head, moonsault off the top. And like the only thing that can be compared is what we saw tonight. A Spanish fly from the top of a steel cage. I can't believe I can't believe I just said that. A Spanish fly from the top of a steel cage, and Osprey had a ugly landing on his shoulder. Oh my god. Yeah. Sorry, language. But These two, they went out there, they killed it. I did like full year more, if I'm gonna be honest, but they killed it. Amazing work. Now something not amazing. It's time to discuss the main event. John Moxley defending against Edge. This was one of the worst AEW main events I have ever seen. Like, it was slow, it was plodding. Every wrong thing with the wrestling was in this. Christian failed his cash in. Christian should have walked out world champion. They need something new desperately. I'm sure if you've gotten this far in the video, you've heard about how frustrated people are with the Death Riders. So they needed something. They didn't pull the trigger. This is one of the worst AEW main events I've seen, and I will leave it at that. So, what do I think of the show overall? We had the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. Overall, I think the highs outweigh the lows slightly. So I am giving it a 6 out of 10, or in other words, about a C grade for this show. For a little reference, I gave the Royal Rumble a B plus, and I gave Elimination Chamber a B. Revolution gets a C grade. So that is it. Thank you for watching. This has been Suplexis. If you want more AEW pay-per-view coverage, let me know, and have a good one, as always.